Good morning and welcome to Cultivate. Today we're going to talk about how to make some modifications onto your home page to show off any closures you're going to have for the holiday season or any change in business hours, things like that that highlight those changes on your home page so that your site visitors can easily see when you're going to be open, any closures you're going to have, that kind of thing. So to do that, we're going to start here in our dashboard. We're going to click on Pages in the top left corner. And then we're going to click on our home page here. So there are many different ways to do this. We're going to start with the easiest, and this is what I always refer to as the Swiss Army knife of page widgets. It's the content block right here towards the top of this right-hand column. So I'm just going to drag this right above my hero search block here. And I'm going to click Create Content. And it's easy to type your message in here. There's a couple of tricks to formatting it, though, that I want to show you now. So you can say something like, "We will be closed Christmas Day." So easy enough. So what I can do here is I can center it, and then if I want to make this larger, because it's just going to be small paragraph text now, the easiest way to do so is click over here where it says paragraph, kind of in the top left corner, and you'll see it's got paragraph, quotation, and a lot of headings. Heading 1 is really big and not necessarily what we need for this, but maybe heading 2 is more appropriate. I'm going to choose heading 3. It changes it a little bit here, but it's going to look a lot different once we save this content block. You can also do different things like change the color of the text over here. So I can make it orange if I want. You can choose a highlight color for it. I'm not going to do that right now, or maybe we can do that. And so let's do a highlight color. Let's add a couple of spaces here, and a couple of spaces to the end. So we're going to make our highlight color actually orange, and then we're going to make our text color white. So there we go. So now when I save this, I've got a nice message here that's really easy to read right here in the top of my screen. If you want to do something a little bit different, you can use a card. So I'm going to go ahead and delete my content block here, and I'm going to add a card. So you'll notice this is almost at the very top of the widgets over here on the right-hand column. The thing about cards is there are a lot of different cards for you to use, and I'll show you where that list lives. First, let's type something like Happy Holidays. We will be closed on Christmas Eve. And Christmas Day. So I've got my heading and my text here. You can load an image if you want. Something that's kind of fun is if you're having like a staff holiday party and you want to put a picture of everyone together wearing Santa hats or something like that. That's always fun. But an image is optional. You don't have to have that. Same thing with primary action. So this is just a call to action button within the site. You don't have to put this in here at all. But I'm going to click on more options down here at the bottom, and you'll see it's got template, card, and when I click on this, there's 5 different ones. What I encourage you to do is just kind of click through each one and see what it's going to look like. So I'll start with just plain old card first. So just a plain white text with this black, or plain white background with black text here. If I click on edit again and I choose more options in a different card, like let's say the about. It kind of moves it to the middle here, changes it to grayscale. So that's card.about. Card.browse new equipment is something we built to link our new equipment, and it actually is image specific. So when I do this, you'll notice that all my text goes away because this card, or the specific version of a card, requires you to put an image in. So if you have a cool graphic that you're using as a holiday message, you can use this browse new equipment that we built, but otherwise I would skip it. You can choose Card Hero, that's going to add an image in the background if we had one, but otherwise it just displays our text here. And then lastly, there's card symbol. And it's here, and the space that you see over here on the left-hand side is actually space for an image. So if you have like an image of your staff that you want to put with this message, this is the best one to choose, card symbol. So there's a couple of different ways to put banners. If you have just an image to put in here, you don't want to use the card approach, I would use a content block and just make sure it fills the space, or you can center it by clicking layout up here. And I like to use 3 plus 6 plus 3. You see this right here? I'm just going to drag this over. And then I'm going to click content and drag my image, my content block in here. And then I can, from here, I can add an image of my staff. I don't really have one, so I'm just going to put a random headline image in here and click on this and add this mower in, center it, and click insert. So I've got my image in my content block here. It's centered when I put it in this column, but if I don't want it to like span the entire width, I can just pull it outside the column, and now it's going to span the entire width of my page, which is going to be responsive on mobile devices as well and look really good. So I can delete that, and if I want to get rid of these 3 columns, I can just click layout and delete those. So one tip that I wouldn't do here is I would not use an image that's very text heavy. So if you have an image you're planning to use the holiday message, keep your wording very big and very brief. And the reason for that is image on text does not work very well on anything smaller than a laptop. So anything that's like a tablet size or really small, like an Ultrabook, like a Chromebook in that size, and especially on mobile where 50% of our traffic comes from, it's going to be really hard to read that text that's on an image. It's better to use separate text and an image for your message if you want to use more than, I would say, 5 words. So just something to keep in mind when you're adding things here. So those are several different ways that you can add a message to your site that is specific for holiday closures or different business hours during the holiday season, that type of thing. If you have any questions, remember you can always reach out to the TracTru support staff at kubotahelp@tractru.com. That's our email address. You can also call our support line. That number is 501-553-9500, and we're at extension 2. Thanks everybody so much. Have a fantastic December and a fantastic holiday.